What's up, engineers? IndyDevDan here. When it comes to AI coding, there are two camps of engineers. Those who spend money to save time and those who spend time to save money. I always advocate for the first. Time is the one resource you'll never get back. But what if we could have it both ways? Zuck and the cracked engineers at Meta just dropped the Llama4 herd. Behemoth, Maverick, and Scout. These models so far are looking like the best open source-ish models available. I'm filming this super fresh on Sunday, so a lot of these models don't have full support across LLM providers, but I have had the chance to play around with Llama4 Maverick, and it's got me excited for low cost, high intelligence compute. What if we could have it all? Maverick is beating out some of the best closed source proprietary LLMs, including the latest ChatGPT-4 and the cracked Gemini 2.5 Pro. It's really crazy to see again, open source-ish model on the top of really any chart. This model really stole the show away from Gemini 2.5 Pro. As you can see here, I think this is the first time a Google model has been at the top of an intelligence chart, but it looks like already it's been out for literally 2 weeks, and it looks like pretty soon we're going to see Maverick and then, my God, Behemoth topping the charts pretty soon here, unless OpenAI's O3 or O4 mini can compete. So there's more options than ever for powerful compute. As you might know, on the channel, we have been hyper focused on the evolution of AI coding to agentic coding. And the leader here, the clear leader in this space, is Claude Code. This is the agentic coding tool made by Anthropic. This tool is changing software engineering. This is the best agentic coding tool in the game right now because it sits at the intersection of agentic coding, customizable MCP servers, and it's fueled by the powerful Claude 3.7 Sonnet, a game-changing model in its own right. But there's a massive problem with Claude 3.7 Sonnet. If you've worked with Claude Code, you know that this model is quite expensive. The $3 per million input isn't the problem. It's really the $15 per million output tokens. If you're writing code at scale, if you're scaling up your compute, if you're packaging and handing off tons of work to Claude Code to get a ton done, you know that the cost really lies in this 15 output token costs. So what can we do about it? With all these new incredible models coming out, wouldn't it be great if we could delegate the AI coding process away from Claude Code to whatever model we wanted? We could delegate it out to Behemoth, Maverick, Scout. We could try out the new secretive Quasar Alpha model. And of course, we could give it to Gemini 2.5 Pro and save 2/3 the cost compared to Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So what if we could do this, right? By now, you're probably up to date with the model context protocol. This is one of the most important things happening in the engineering world right now. We're standardizing the language of our agents. We're standardizing the language and the interface to interact with tools in a repeatable fashion. Why don't we delegate the AI coding process to the original best open source AI coding tool, Aider? This gives us 3 distinct advantages. We can save money by using a cheaper model. We can regain full control over what model we want to code with inside of Claude Code. And lastly, it lets you tap into a powerful agentic pattern we'll discuss in this video. Let's increase our compute advantage on the compute time and cost dimension with this experimental Aider MCP server. So let's open up the terminal and get Claude Code up and running. The first thing I'm going to do is run my context priming prompt. This is me telling Claude Code what it needs to understand to write code and to operate in this code base. So I have this saved as a custom / command, also known as a prompt template. If I hit / and I run context prime with Aider, this is going to run several commands. It's a small workflow. You can see here, Claude Code is reading a couple files. It's running get ls files, and now it's going to run a tree command so that it understands the structure of this Aider MCP server. There's the summary. The most important part here is at the bottom. When coding for this project, I should use Aider AI code tool as directed. So instead of using its own file editing tools, it's going to use our tool. Here, we're overriding its file editing tool with our own Aider AI code. And now we have access to any model we want that Aider supports. So if I run bangcat.mcp.json, you can see I'm running the new Gemini 2.5 Pro model. This is the paid version. If you want, you can of course use the experimental version and hand over all of your code and data and prompts to Google. This is totally fine if you don't care, but always remember, if something's free, your prompts, your code, your data, and you are the product. So this is what that MCP server setup looks like, right? So we have Aider, we then specify our model, typical MCP setup stuff here. So what can we do with this, right? What does this actually look like? Let's get back into bash mode. I'll run cat, and I just want to show you the utils. So a new cool feature in Claude Code, if you start typing something, hit tab, you can get autocomplete. I just want to cat the utils. And you can see here, I just have a couple things here, right? We have the default editor model and we have the default architect model. So let's use a very, very simple AI coding example using Aider inside of Claude Code. So we'll use this Aider AI code. So just being super clear here with the tool I want called, add a default weak model to utils.py, use the same model as editor. So we'll just fire this off. And instead of using its own tool, its own file editing tool, you can see here we have our Aider MCP server running. And this is really cool, right? We have Claude Code operating as the AI coder. It's writing the AI coding prompt. It's passing in the context. And of course, the model was already selected up here, right? So we're using this as the default model. So if we go ahead and run this, this is going to be a quick small change. We're going to get back a diff, and you can see that there. We just delegated the AI coding process away from Claude Code's 3.7 Sonnet to Gemini. So if we go ahead and cat that file again, we now have that new weak model variable, right? So just showcasing, obviously this is a simple one-line change. This is table stakes for modern AI coding tools, right? But this is really cool. I just want to really hone in on this idea. We had Claude Code hand off the AI coding process to one of the original top-notch AI coding tools, Aider, and we had it write the code. So we can use any model, right? We can have any model run this process, right? Let's go ahead and scale our impact a little bit more with this tool. Inside of this code base, we have multiple .info calls, right? So you can see here we have a ton of .infos. So let's go ahead and just run an arbitrary AI coding prompt to update these. We'll run clear to clear the conversation history. I'll go ahead and rerun my context prime. You have to remember this is a blank slate now. Always think from the perspective of your AI coding assistant. So we're going to reprime with Aider. And what I want to do here is showcase how many output tokens we're really saving by using a completely different model, right? We don't need to use Claude 3.7 Sonnet. We can delegate the AI coding process and really any process we want to another tool, to another MCP server. This is important to mention as well. There's also another tool. We can list models coming out of Aider. So I can also say, list models, and then we can say something like Grok, right? So let's say I want to get all the Grok models that Aider supports. You can see that command coming up there. We hit enter, and we can see all the Grok models here, right? So looks good. We can do this for any provider from Aider, right? So let's say we want to see what the latest Gemini models are, right? We can see that brand new 2.5, right? So this looks great. And then if we search 2.5, we should get that model down here. Yep, there we go. So we got that new Gemini 2.5 Pro preview. That's the model I'm currently using as the default. So let's go ahead and replace these info calls with debug calls, right? Just a random example prompt. So again, clear context prime with Aider. This is a workflow that I use all the time. If you're using Claude Code, you probably have some workflow like this. You're constantly refreshing sessions as you fill up the context window, and you need to run that, compact command over and over and over. And let's go ahead and run this AI coding prompt. So I'll paste this in. So we're going to search Python files, look for .info, then Aider AI code. And I'm just being super clear with the tool call here. Update all logging.info to .debug model. And then I'm passing in a model I want used. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this and let's see if we get the right command here. So there's that search. So we're now moving into this space with agentic coding where we're not just running coding prompts, right? We're running arbitrary tool calls based on our prompt. and then specific AI coding tools. So check this out. Again, we have Claude Code writing the AI coding prompt for us. And there's a lot of work that we can do here in the tool argument description to help it with IDKs and to improve the prompting of Claude Code prompting Aider. But this looks good in itself. You can see it's using some powerful keywords out of the box, and then it's kind of just walking through the details, right? So this looks really, really good. Just change all instances of info to debug, right? Super clear. And then it's passing in the context right here. So again, this is why it's so important to prime your AI coding tool. When it's calling other tools that also need context, it can then pass those in perfectly, right? And this is why we had it search for .info first. So now it knows exactly where those files are. We do have an issue here. It wants to run OpenRouter, Quasar Alpha. I think this is actually wrong. It's just one OpenRouter. Just do this, copy. I'm gonna hit escape and I'm gonna say use this. And it might be wrong here. It actually might be OpenRouter, but I don't think it is. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this off. Okay, so still issues there. So it actually might have been right. So I'm gonna say OpenRouter slash. So I'm just cool. So I'm gonna hit yes here and let's go ahead and see the response. So this is really, really cool. So look at the diff that came back. This is a really, really important feature of this workflow, of this tool call. Our Aider MCP server returns true, and then it returns the diff, right? So the diff gets fed right back into Claude Code. Claude Code isn't using output tokens here, at least not as many as it would if it wrote all of this code, right? And so there's the diff. Something really incredible is happening here. I mentioned there are 3 advantages. The third advantage is this interesting agent architecture where Claude Code is acting as a agent orchestrator, a tool orchestrator. So this might seem really obvious, but the most important thing about your tool calls is the action it takes and what it returns back to Claude Code to help guide Claude Code or whatever MCP host you're using. You might like Cursor, you might like the Claude desktop application, whatever you're using. When you're writing your tools, it's really, really important to return useful information. So you can see here, we got the entire diff, and immediately Claude Code got to work in validating Aider's work. Instead of an architect editor, we have a editor reviewer workflow here, and it runs in this kind of interesting loop. So you can see here Claude Code looking for logger.info calls. This is why I chose this example, because you can see Claude Code validating that AI coding change. And if we scroll down here, you can see it looks like a couple logs were missed, right? Let's finish the task by updating the remaining .info calls in logging.py. We have this looping editor reviewer workflow here with Claude Code and Aider. This is one of the reasons I always stress you want to think in ands, not ors. Don't limit yourself by thinking one tool, one idea is better, strictly better than another, right? It's very often the case that you can use multiple tools, multiple ideas together in an and, in a combined, in a composed workflow to get better results. We're seeing this here in action with Claude Code and Aider. Look at this great AI coding prompt, right? Context, model, prompt. It's all here. It's all coming together. It's interesting to see where this could go if you wrapped Aider in its own agent, right? We're starting to see this agent orchestration come out of Claude Code, where if you give it the right tools, which could themselves also be agents, you get this really interesting feedback loop, right? It's doing more work autonomously. We can see here, Claude Code is now writing the prompts for me, right? Claude Code is now selecting the context, right? So super, super interesting idea here. I think we're definitely pushing in this direction where we're having multiple tools, multiple agents talking back and forth, solving problems. Some agents use specific LLMs that are better at some things. And of course, specific agents are going to solve domain-specific problems extraordinarily well. So anyway, let's go ahead and let Aider and Claude Code finish up this change. You can see that was really simple. There's success, there's the diff, and now again, we can see Claude Code validating that change again, okay? So it wants to see where are those .infos. Let's keep working. We're eliminating the right ones. There we go. So this looks good, right? The remaining .info are actually the method definition. So that looks great. So if we look at our .infos now, this looks pretty good. Looks like we have our logging and our tests for logs. Very cool. It's nice to see this in action. And we did that with the OpenRouter Quasar model. So, whatever model this happens to be coming out of OpenRouter. Not sure what this is, but rumor says this is the new OpenAI model. If this is their upcoming open source model, that would be absolutely insane because this model is quite powerful. But that's the key idea here. I don't think I need to harp on this too much more. You really want to be thinking about your MCP servers as ways to delegate work off of Claude Code. And if we type /costs here, after all those changes have been made, you can see here, I've only spent 68 cents. And check this out. Lines added, lines removed. Claude Code has not made a single change, right? So we're saving quite a bit of money from those, $15 output token costs, right? Throughout the session, throughout all of the sessions that we ran here, all Claude Code was doing was reading, right? Read. It got the diff, so it needs to read that into the context window. It read these files. Right, it's all good. These are all $3 per million token reads. So we're keeping our costs down. We're staying away from that 5x cost. For every write you make, you could have made 5 reads, right? So why not just outsource the AI coding to another model, right? A cheaper model with equal or even better intelligence for actually writing the code. And if we check out the Aider leaderboards, we can see things are getting pretty spicy. We don't have the new Llama4 models in yet. But we can see here the model I was just using, Gemini 2.5 Pro, it is the leader right now. It's an insane 8% improvement. It's an insane 8% improvement over Claude 3.7 with thinking tokens. This is quite a big deal. Gemini, Google, they're cooking right now. They are coming back hard. My prediction still stands. I'm still strongly behind OpenAI being the leader. In terms of raw intelligence, I think that O3 and O4 mini, which looks like it's going to be released in Q2, I think they're going to blow past everyone else in the space right now. But we'll see. Right now, we have a great model, Gemini 2.5 Pro. We have the brand new Llama4s. We have a lot of new intelligence to work with and understand the capabilities of. This is a really simple idea, but it can be very powerful. There are some scenarios where you don't just need to spend to win. You can have it all. And I think we're seeing that specifically when we combine MCP servers with great AI coding tools. If we run GS here, you can see all of the code that was changed here by our AI coding tool. This is git status. And it all happened. It was all done by the combination of Aider and Claude Code. Another one of the reasons why Aider is one of the still best AI coding tools is that it is programmable. You can take Aider, you can control it, you can write it into your own workflows, you can write it into your own MCP servers as we've done here. This code is going to be available to you in the description if you want to see how you can do this, how you can program with Aider. You can add it to your own workflows. If you've taken principled AI coding, you're familiar with these ideas, you know how powerful this tool can be. It's really hard to debate that there's a more customizable and controllable open source AI coding tool than Aider. There's a reason I use Aider inside of principled AI coding. It is simply the best way to teach AI coding in a principled way for every tool, for every model that's going to be released. It also gives you access to a massive number of models. If we type Aider -- list models, and then you pass in any substring you want. So say you're looking for OpenAI models, you can just see all the models you have available to you via many, many providers. So very, very powerful stuff. As you might know from the State of AI Coding essay, I am still using Aider. If we search Aider here, you can see the tools that I am adding, removing. You can see my kind of AI coding tool investments. I have reduced my usage in Aider in exchange for Claude Code. I'm primarily using Claude Code. But after this kind of, new experimental discovery of using Aider inside of Claude Code, my usage here is probably going to go back up because I'm going to be able to control my AI coding model. So I might have to come in, update this. If you haven't checked this out already, the State of AI Coding is a huge breakdown of where AI coding is at where it could be going, and high leverage bets you can make to understand where it might go so that you can get ahead of the curve. Definitely check this out. There's a super comprehensive essay. I broke a lot of key ideas down inside of this blog post. Obviously, one of the big ideas we've been discussing on the channel, compute equals success. For anyone interested, I've also just released part 2. It's now available exclusively for Principled AI Coding members, where we talk about the transitory nature of AI coding. AI coding is not going to be around forever. And in part 2, we talk about what's coming next. If you're not a Principled AI Coding member yet, that's fine. You can hop into part 1, engineering with exponentials, and get a great idea of how to leverage compute in your engineering work. Links will be in the description as usual. Llama4 is here. This new Quasar alpha model is likely to be released soon. And of course, we have the incredible Gemini 2.5 Pro. I'm going to be working with this model a lot more for AI coding and for building agents. If you enjoyed this video, if you got value out of it, you know exactly what to do. Like, subscribe, comment. I will see you in the next one. Stay focused and keep building.